So hello there, it's Fiona again from Weekly Sewing Bee. Now today I'm going to make little fabric boxes. Haha. Okay, oh my printer looks so dusty. It's not really that dusty, it just looks really dusty and high def. Okay, so this is the shelf that I'm going to use. So I need to measure the size of the shelf, which is 14. And then I need to measure the depth of the shelf. So, which is 7. Honestly, it's 7. So now I know the size, yes. And this is bits you don't see. Look at the mess. This is all projects. Most of it's unsewn, but obviously not. And then the other side of the room, the window. And I always open the curtains that way, so I've got a little bit of light. Okay, so you're back on the cradle now, and you won't get vertigo anymore. So, I now... Yes, sorry, I plugged the camera back in and it switched off. My bad. So, the depth is 7 and the width is 14. And I want to make them splayed out. The reason for this is because it's quite nice to have them stackable as well. So if they're like that, then I'll be able to put them stackable. So that's fine. 14, maybe an inch wider at the top. So let's call it 12. So let's do the depth at 4, because I want to do 3. Now the other choice is do I make one and then make another one and then make the last one? Now I think that if I made all 3 straight off, then it would be quite hard. But if I made one, then one, then one, then that would be quite boring for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one and do the video, and then I'm going to make the other 2 at the same time. So you do all your sides, you do all your... and I think that will be a lot easier. Although this is quite a simple sew, the basis of it is I would like to have... what would I like? I would like to have... oh yes, so I'm going to use this canvas. I'm going to line it with sheeting fabric, and then I am going to do piping along the top. So it should be interesting. It should be interesting. I don't think we've done piping before here, so not on camera anyway. So this is my bottom. It's 4 by 7. Now because I'm using stripes, I want to keep my stripes running around the top, as it were. I'm going to, rather than cut each side out, I am going to do a triangle just to take up the slack. So might be better off at the other end actually. Yeah, that was just the ribbing of the fabric. So I've got this fabric, and I love this fabric, I really do. And I now have a starting pattern. Oh, I didn't measure the height. Oh, it can be quite high. So I am just going to do bop, 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 bop. I can't find anything today, honestly. I did a video this morning and I just gave up in the end. So I'm taking my long side, then I'm taking my short side, and in between these I need to have a consistent V. Now what I mean by a consistent V is it needs to be the same size each side. So now all I'm going to do for that is I'm going to fold a post-it note into whatever I think. It's quite a smaller inch actually. Now I'm going to line up my second line with my pattern square. Now if you find it easier, then yes, of course you can use a piece of card, but I was using that. What I will do though, because I'm going to sew this and I want them all to match, is I'm just going to draw around here and bottom. Maybe I should write tray or box. Okay, so I've got the information I need there, and with the post-it note that I had a second ago, what I'll do is I'll stick that on there so I know that I've got them the same. So I have the information I need now on here, and I can basically cut out this strip. So now every time I get to a a pink div, I'm going to do a V, and it is literally just a tag for where I'm sewing that I can use to measure. So now if I was making these boxes bigger, I wouldn't attempt to cut it on the table. I would lie it out on a flat surface, even if it means that I'm crawling over the floor, obviously assisted by all sorts of pets, and they do love to tread on it, don't they? And go, what are you doing? Can I help? So there we are. I have nearly got the side panels with pink pencil lines and these. Lovely. Get rid of that. Put everything to the side because I'm going to need it all again. And grab the sewing machine. Now this is all set up. I left it set up from doing the pin tray and everything, so that's all good. And what I need to do now is, I'm not going to start at the end, but I'm going to start the first one from the end. So, and I'm just going to sew the V's, which is literally folded in half and then sew to the top. I'm going to go to the next one. Look for my little pink lines and my V's if they're not very clear. Fold the two in half and then sew to the top. And I should have 3 of these darts, for a better word, on here. And then on the end one, I'm going to match up my lines, and I am going to do the same angle. Now, I'll work it out when I write it down on a bit of paper for you. So lovely, that's my side done. I have my base here. There's no reason why I can't sew my base now before I start cutting out the lining. And I do have my base. I'm a monster, aren't I? I just chuck everything on the floor and lose everything. So, it is on the floor. Lovely. So I need right side to right side, and I need to match up these corners. Side. So, straight line sewing, you can do that. Leave the needle down, push the foot up, get everything in position. So I'm literally taking the top and then turning the bottom and then wiggling it. Wiggling it is a good word. And then I'm doing a bit more sewing. And again. And if you've got to go back a step because you've gone too far, then that's fine. That's all fine. Making sure nothing gets tucked up, everything's pushed out of the way, and then with luck you should not only finish at the same point that you started, but you should have a fully functioning box. Tray. Don't know. By the end of the video I'll have a good idea what it's called. So there we are. If we cut these loose threads then it will stand up, I'm sure. So there we go. Okay, so the lining. Now the lining is the same but slightly smaller. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to see if I've got enough green fabric because it'll make the piping stand out more. Yeah, I'm going to use green. I changed my mind. I can do that though, can't I? You'll forgive me. So, this strip needs to be exactly the same. And I suppose as we're doing a few, then there was a lot to be said for doing a long strip and marking it out. Which I might do actually. Maybe I should have done this first. So, I'm going to take the pattern that I drew earlier. And I'm going to mark this out on the paper. And exactly the same. So little pink lines, use my nice marker as to say when the ends start. Now the thing I would say about the lining is if we can make it slightly smaller, then that's all for the good. It's just we've got to take up the hem allowance and it will just fit snugly in. If we lose, say, 1/4 of an inch off it overall. Okay, so that's the lining to do. I think what I'll do now is I will do the piping. Now I've got a long strip of fabric. Now what I like to do, right or wrong, I don't know, is I like to make the piping yeah. Okay, so I've got normal string, completely normal string, nothing special. You can buy piping cord to put in here, or you can just use it as a fold. Now, I'm going to go over the end of my string on my strip of fabric with a good couple of stitches. Okay, only reason for that is I've had one fall out before the string, and it just makes it look all a bit baggy. Now, what I said I like to do is, on this sewing machine, you can put your stitch in the middle, or you can put your stitch to the side. Now, for the second sew, I'm going to use it for the side, but on this sew, I'm going to use it in the middle. This is so that none of my stitching shows through. Now, if you have a zipper foot, yeah, then these are great, and you can do your second sew with your zipper foot. Now, so your zipper foot you can put on this side. So you can push it as far across, you can have it in the middle, or you can have it on that side. So yeah, just make sure that whichever side you put your zipper foot and whichever side you put your needle, it's not literally going to come down and bang your foot straight away, okay? So, but it is a handy thing to have, and yeah, I shouldn't ignore it, of course. Now, you can buy specialised piping feet. These are universal for most machines, unless of course, you know, it's not universal. Oh, that's a terrible thing to say, isn't it? And what that's got, it's got a groove, so you can put a bit of string right under. Now, all I'm doing is I'm sewing with my piece of string against the fold, and if I pull it, then, or if I gently tug it, then I can get the edge of the foot right up against the string. Okay, if I pull it really hard, then it'll come off completely, but you know, that's where we are. So that's all great, and I'm going to do all this because it's one of those things, by the time I've got it set up, I know I'm going to need to do enough for all 4 boxes. And then when I sew the lining into the main body, then I'm going to move the needle across. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to get all my lining cut out, and I'm going to finish this bit of piping, and then I'm going to switch you back on. So I know, I've been busy actually. I decided when I was cutting out the lining to do all 3, so yeah, it's a big mess. But that's okay. It means I can put the other fabric away, so. Now, so we've got the lining, and I decided to make it taller so we can do a little fold over. I thought that would be nice. And I've got my marks on my fabric. Now, I need to sew the height of the first box, which is convenient that it's there, but obviously you need to mark it on the pattern. So and I'm doing my darts. Easy enough, isn't it? What am I like? So yeah, cut that off. on the bottom, I needed to do all 4 bits, all 4 darts as it were, all bits sewn into a circle. I don't need that on the lining because I need to turn it inside out. But what would look neater is if I hem the top so the fold is hemmed. So I just need to line that up. And then I need to run some stitches down. And then I can put the fold in the inside of the lining. So it will just look a lot neater. And then I need to sew the bottom on. So I'm going to line it up. And sew along. Leave the needle down. Wiggle all my fabric so that it's nice and smooth. Don't want anything caught up underneath. And sew again. Lovely, give it a little wiggle. Needle down and then coming to the end and leaving myself a little bit of hem allowance as well, so I'm not going to sew right to the end. It's just going to make it a bit easier later. So there we are. Oh, what a shame. I looked at it and I thought, yeah, now I've got enough, but I haven't. Lovely. So here we are. We have a bigger box. Now what I need to do, the next step is I need this the right way round. So, and I need this still the wrong way round, and I need to place this inside there. So that's great. Now I can put a couple of pins just to keep these 2 tops together, and yeah, I could put a couple of pins in there. Now I'm going to take the piping that we did earlier and I'm going to place it between the 2, and then I'm going to put it under the machine and change the foot, which I left out on purpose, didn't I? You all saw me. Yes, that was such a long time ago. It was for me, anyway. So, I'm going to change the foot. Lovely. And I'm going to make sure that I'm not in a position where I'm going to hit the other side. So, lovely. We have sort of a sandwich with the piping in the middle. And hoping we're actually on screen here. Just do the last one So that's great, and I'm back to the beginning again, and I am going to place the fabric under the machine. I can feel where the piping is under my finger, and the sheeting is kind of see-through that I can see it, but I'm going to rely on the foot to sort of push it into line, yeah? So as long as I keep it tight on the foot, I'll be fine. A couple of reverse stitches, there we go, just feeling it with my finger and letting the machine take it slowly. There we go. If I needed to take the sleeve arm off, I would do. Excuse me. And there we are. Just coming up to the last side, making sure that my string of piping is well clear. It is very easy to sew and catch something under the needle, it really is, but it's just patience and time and part of the learning curve. So lovely, just coming up to the end now, making sure everything's nice and not tight but in its right place. Lovely, I'm going to make sure that that's all kicked up, that's all done. And tidy that up, because we can. And I'm going to find the hole in the lining, there we are, and I'm going to pull it through. It's a good idea to sort of squish your corners out, inside out. It just makes it a bit easier for you. And then push the corners into the corners. So what I've got, I can feel a corner on my finger, and then I'm pushing it into that corner. So there we go, and then you can fold that up and it will all line up nicely. Oh, I've come off there. This happens even with the pins. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to get upset about it, I'm just going to do it straight away. Now that I've seen it, I'm going to turn it inside out, and I'm just going to put a couple more stitches in there so that I've got it all caught up. Yep, you know, it's fine, it's fine. You see, to correct that problem was seconds. So I'm just going to take a look. It's fine now. It wasn't a problem. Then I'm going to take my lining and I'm going to pinch it. Now, when you've got the hang of that, it's brilliant. It's easy. And you just pull it taut and all your scraggly ends fall into place. And it is just time and patience. I'm going to use the zipper foot again just to tidy up this. I'm not going to change the foot, but I am going to be aware of where I'm stitching. Lovely, a couple of loose ends, and then, you know, what would be a good idea is just to get a bit of weight. If you did this pattern in cardboard, just to put it in there, just to get it all lined up so it's all nice and tidy. Okay, well, I've got a few more to do. I'm going to finish those and then I'm going to show you them all together. Alright, thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to do the last one now. I've got it all pinned up, so it's a bit of an easy thing. And, yes. I was just chuckling to myself that I said on camera, it's not really that dusty, it's just because it's in high definition. Where, of course, it is that dusty, but, yeah. I know, I should be ashamed. I should even film it, shouldn't I? Oops. And there we are, just coming up to the last bit now. So please like, please share, please subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you again soon. My name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee. I know. Yes, these loose ends, if they are, you know, these are just scraggly bits, but you can get to a point where you're trying to get it to sit right and it won't sit right, and it's literally because you've got one piece of cotton still. So, although it's on the inside, it is a good idea to sort of tidy it all up though. Okay, I'm going to put a couple of stitches in there and then I'm all done. Oh well. Come back to it. Yes, so fingers in and just pull it taut. It's good. It's good. Makes me happy. Come on, you can do it. Machine's tired. Okay, all done. So there we are, our little basket stroke trays stroke boxes. Okay, all ready to stack and all ready to go. All I need is some half finished projects to put them in. Well, thank you ever so much for watching. My name's Fiona.